Hello dear students, welcome back to my video lectures. Well, we all know that we were solving the questions of model question paper that has been put up by Karnataka PU board. I think in our previous video we have finished part A, wherein we have solved 10 questions of 1 mark. Now in this video lecture we will solve few more questions for 2 marks. That means we are solving questions, we are writing the answers to the questions of part B, which carries 2 marks each. Shall we start? Yes. Okay, let's start. Okay, as you know, we have finished all these questions in our previous video till 10 questions. Okay, so in this video we will take up part B. We know part B contains 8 questions, wherein you have to answer only 5 questions and each question carries 2 marks. Okay? Yeah. Yes, let us start then. So here we go with the 11th question. The question is, give any two differences between crystalline and amorphous solids. Students, I will tell you, when you are asked to write the differences, please don't take the definition as a point of difference or an example as a point of difference. Don't ever think that you will be awarded marks just because you wrote the examples. No, examples will not be taken as a point of difference. And in some cases, even the definition cannot be taken as a point of difference. So avoid these two and you can write the rest of the differences. Shall we answer this question? Give any two differences between crystalline solids and amorphous solids. Yes, let us start. Here we go. We know crystalline solids. We are asked to write only two differences for 2 marks. Only two differences for 2 marks. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Crystalline solids and what else? Amorphous solids. Amorphous solids. Is it correct? Yes. What are the differences, guys? Please think. Okay, don't wait for me, start writing. Okay, yes, avoid, as I said, avoid definitions and avoid example. First point of differences. We know crystalline solids are anisotropic, isn't it? Whereas amorphous solids are isotropic, correct? Yes. Then what else? Crystalline solids, yeah, okay, they possess both long range and short range order. Long range, okay, and short range order. Short range order, yes. Whereas amorphous solids have only short range order, isn't it? They have only short range order. They have only short range order. Okay, correct? Then, so you are asked to write only two differences. Please learn these two differences. But apart from this, let me write the other differences also so that you can pick any two out of those. Okay? Yeah. The next, we know, okay, crystalline solids have sharp melting point. They have sharp melting point, whereas okay, yes, they have sharp melting point, whereas amorphous solids do not have sharp melting point. Just a minute. Okay, yeah, they do not have sharp melting point. Yes, they do not have sharp melting point. They melt over a range of temperature. They melt over a range of temperature, isn't it? Correct. Any other differences? Yeah. Crystalline solids are, yes, true solids they are true solids. Okay, yeah. Whereas amorphous solids are pseudo solids. They are pseudo solids or supercooled liquids. Supercooled liquids. So students, I have given you 4 differences. You can write any of these 2 differences. Okay, pick the one which you can memorize easily. Okay, crystalline solids are anisotropic, amorphous solids are isotropic. Crystalline solids have both long range and short range order. Amorphous solids have only short range order. Crystalline solids have sharp melting point. Okay, amorphous solids do not have sharp melting point. They melt over a range of temperature. Crystalline solids are true solids, whereas amorphous solids are pseudo solids, or else they are also called as supercooled liquids. Fine? Yes, that's great. Can we take the next question? Okay, here comes the 12th question. Write the overall cell reaction during the working of Daniell cell. Hope we have studied about Daniell cell in electrochemistry, isn't it? Okay, write the overall cell reaction during the working of Daniell cell. What is the overall cell reaction? It is very simple. Zinc solid plus Cu2 plus aqueous gives rise to Zn2 plus. Zinc is oxidized to Zn2 plus. Okay, Cu2 plus is reduced to Cu, isn't it? Zinc is oxidized to Zn2 plus. Cu2 plus is reduced to Cu. That's it. This is the answer. 2 marks. Very simple. Very simple. Correct? Zinc is oxidized to zinc 2 plus. Copper is reduced to Cu2 plus. Okay. Yes, let us just discuss the background of this reaction. We know about Daniell cell very well. We have learnt about the Daniell cell. What does Daniell cell consist of? We know Daniell cell consists of zinc rod dipped in zinc sulfate solution, isn't it? It consists of a zinc rod. Yes, it consists of zinc rod dipped in zinc sulfate solution. Am I correct? And also it consists of a copper rod. It consists of a copper rod dipped in copper sulfate solution. Am I correct? It consists of copper rod dipped in copper sulfate solution. The 2 rods are connected externally using a switch and an ammeter. Okay, the 2 rods, whereas the 2 solutions are connected using a salt bridge, isn't it? Yeah, just a minute. Okay, the 2 solutions are connected using a salt bridge. Sorry. Okay, yes, the 2 solutions are connected using a salt bridge. Yeah, this is very fine. Zinc rod dipped in zinc sulfate, copper rod is dipped in copper sulfate. The 2 rods are connected externally using a metallic wire which includes a switch and an ammeter, and the 2 solutions are connected using, what is this? Salt bridge. Salt bridge. We know zinc rod dipped in zinc sulfate is anode, whereas copper rod dipped in copper sulfate is cathode. Okay, what happens at anode? Oxidation. What happens at cathode? Reduction. So what is the reaction that takes place at anode, by the way? Can you just think of? Yeah, okay, just a minute. Yes, so what happens at anode? We know at anode zinc is oxidized to zinc 2 plus by liberating 2 electrons. Am I correct? And what happens at cathode? At cathode, okay, Cu2 plus takes 2 electrons and gets reduced to metallic copper. Is that correct? So what is the overall reaction? 2 electrons gets cancelled. Zinc combines with Cu2 plus to give Zn2 plus plus Cu. Correct? Yes. Okay. Yes, this is the overall reaction. Overall reaction, isn't it, guys? Yes. Okay, we know that the reaction that takes place at anode is called as oxidation half reaction, and the reaction that takes place at cathode is called as reduction half reaction. Isn't it, guys? Yes. Okay. Sum of oxidation half reaction and reduction half reaction is called as overall reaction, or it is also called as cell reaction. Okay, that is what we have learned it, we have written it here. Okay, that's great. Okay, can we go for the next one? Yes. The next question is like this, the 13th question. Yes. So what is this question? It's a problem from chemical kinetics and it is for 2 marks. For the reaction R gives rise to P, the concentration of the reactant changes from 0.03 molar to 0.02 molar in 25 minutes. Calculate the average rate of reaction in seconds. You have to calculate the average rate of reaction in seconds. Okay, the reaction is given. R gives rise to P. For this reaction, you have to calculate the average rate. We know average rate is given as del of concentration of R divided by del T. What is del of concentration of R? Okay, that means final concentration minus initial concentration divided by final time minus initial time. Okay, now the question says the concentration of the reactant changes from 0.03 molar to 0.02 molar. That means the initial concentration is 0.03 molar, whereas the final concentration is 0.02 molar. Okay, and T final is 25 minutes and T initial should be taken as 0. Okay, yes. So can we calculate the average rate? Yes. So average rate is equal to what is, okay, R final, it is 0.02 minus R initial 0.03 divided by T final minus T initial, that is, okay, 25 minus 0. Okay, yes, since it is average rate and rate cannot be negative, please do remember the speed rate cannot be negative. So 0.02 minus 0.03 is nothing but 0.03 minus 0.02, it is 0.01 divided by 25. Okay, why I didn't consider negative here? Because speed cannot be negative. So what is 0.01 divided by 25? Yeah, 0.01, okay, divided by 25 is, okay, 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4 per minute. The unit is per minute. Okay, isn't it? What is the unit of rate? Mole per liter per minute. Okay, isn't it? So let me write it here, just a minute. Okay, okay, we got 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Okay, yes, we're getting the answer to be 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4 mole per liter per minute. Okay, but the question is, you are supposed to calculate the average rate in seconds. So you have to convert this into seconds. How do you convert it? How do you convert it? So, okay, what are you supposed to do? Okay, what you will do? Either you will divide by 60 or you will multiply by 60. Yes, come on. Okay, yeah, divide this by 60. Okay, so if you divide 4 into 10 to the power of minus 4, okay, yes, you multiply or divide? Yeah, divide it by 60. Okay, 4 divided by 60, you will get, okay, 4 divided by 60, you will be getting 0.066 into 10 to the power of minus 4 mole per liter per second. So this is the average rate of the reaction. 0.066 into 10 to the power of minus 4 mole per liter per second. Hope you have understood. That's it. Very simple. Next, 14th question. How will you account for the following? Okay, zirconium and hafnium sizes are almost same. This carries 1 mark. What is the composition of the mesh metal? This carries 1 mark. Okay, yes. So guys, yeah, how will you account for the following? Zirconium and hafnium are almost same. So, no, sizes are almost same. Why? Please remember, zirconium is a 4D series element, 4D series element, whereas hafnium is, okay, 5D series element. Okay, yes. The atomic size of zirconium is almost 158 picometer, whereas the atomic size of hafnium is almost 160 picometer. Just look at here, they almost have the same atomic radii. Why? Zirconium and hafnium have almost same atomic radii. We know as we go down the group, atomic size should increase, but 4D series and 5D series elements have the same atomic size or same atomic radii. What is the reason? Very simple. It is because of, the answer is, it is because of, yeah, it is because of lanthanoid contraction, isn't it? It is because of lanthanoid contraction. Yes, the main reason why 4D series and 5D series have almost same atomic size, because of lanthanoid contraction. Very simple, very simple, one word answer. Okay, now what is the composition of mish metal? Where do you come across mish metal? Yeah, we'll come across this mish metal in lanthanoids. What is mish metal? Mish metal, okay, is an alloy. It's an alloy. It's an alloy. And what is its composition? Okay, its composition is, okay, yes, yeah, 95% lanthanoid metal, okay, 5% iron, and okay, traces of sulfur, carbon, okay, yes, calcium and aluminium. Mish metal is an alloy. Its composition is 95% any lanthanide metal, okay, 5% iron, okay, and traces of sulfur, carbon, calcium and aluminium. Okay, hope you have understood. Yes, that's good. 15th question. Explain Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction with equation by taking chlorobenzene as an example. Yes. Okay, you have to explain Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction. Yes, Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction. Very simple. Okay, yes, can anybody explain Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction? Okay, and you have to take chlorobenzene as an example. Look at the reaction. Yes, I can say, can we explain? When it is asked for 2 marks, you have to write the sentence along with the equation as well. Okay, look at here. Okay, chlorobenzene, let me write the sentence. Let me write the explanation. Chlorobenzene reacts with, okay, yes, what? Since it is acylation reaction, okay, acyl halides, chlorobenzene reacts with acyl halides in the presence of anhydrous aluminium chloride, to form orthochloroacetophenone. We know it gives rise to 2 products, and parachloroacetophenone. Okay, acetophenone, isn't it? Okay, yes. Chlorobenzene reacts with acyl chloride. Any be particular. Let me quote an example here itself. Okay, be particular. Okay, chlorobenzene reacts with acetyl chloride. Let us say, okay, chlorobenzene reacts with acetyl chloride. Acetyl chloride. Let us go with an example. Since it is for 2 marks, directly we'll write the example. Chlorobenzene reacts with acetyl chloride in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride to form orthochloroacetophenone and parachloroacetophenone. See the reaction? Yes. Look at the reaction. Chlorobenzene. What is the formula? Yes. We know halogen is ortho and para directing, isn't it? Chlorobenzene. Take 2 molecules. Reacts with acetyl chloride formula CH3 C double bond O Cl in the presence of, yes, anhydrous aluminum chloride. In the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, it forms 2 products. First product is, look at here, yes, okay, chlorine, okay, C double bond OCH3, this is orthochloroacetophenone, and one more, what is this? Orthochloroacetophenone, orthochloroacetophenone, yes, phenone, and one more product, yes, this is parachloroacetophenone, parachloroacetophenone, COCH3, okay, yes, plus 2 molecules of HCl, plus 2 molecules of HCl, okay, yes, 2 molecules of HCl, sorry, HCl, orthochloroacetophenone. Just a minute, students, let me just write it properly. Yeah, orthochloroacetophenone and parachloroacetophenone. Okay, let us write it properly so that you'll be able to understand. Okay, yes, yeah. Next, this is orthochloroacetophenone. What is the other product? Parachloroacetophenone, parachloroacetophenone, at para position C double bond O CH3 plus 2 molecules of HCl. Okay, orthochloroacetophenone and parachloroacetophenone. Okay, yes, that's correct. Okay, chlorobenzene reacts with acetyl chloride. Chlorobenzene reacts with acetyl chloride in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride to form orthochloroacetophenone and parachloroacetophenone. Please write the reactions properly. Okay, yes, that's good. Now let us go to the next question. Explain coal-base reaction. Anybody please? Explain coal-base reaction. We know coal-base reaction is all about converting sodium phenate to, okay, coal-base reaction involves the conversion of sodium phenate to salicylic acid, isn't it? Okay, conversion of sodium phenate to salicylic acid is called as coal-base reaction. So we have to explain coal-base reaction. How? We know, okay, yes, yeah, sodium phenate. Look at the explanation. I told you have to write both explanation as well as the reaction for 2 marks. Sodium phenate reacts with carbon dioxide at 413 Kelvin and 6 to 7 atmospheric pressure to form sodium salicylate, which on acidification gives salicylic acid, Now see the reaction. Just look at the reaction. Okay, just look at the reaction. Sodium phenate, benzene ring, okay, ONA. Sodium phenate reacts with what? Please mention everything. Carbon dioxide. Yes, at 413 Kelvin and 6 to 7 atmospheric pressure to form sodium salicylate. What is the formula for sodium salicylate? OH COONA. Sodium salicylate, which upon acidification, for acidification you can just write H plus or you can write dilute HCl, anything is fine, which upon which upon acidification with dilute HCl, which upon acidification with dilute HCl gives salicylic acid, isn't it? It gives salicylic acid. This is salicylic acid. Salicylic acid. Salicylic acid. Clear? This reaction is called as coal-base reaction. Any doubts? Okay, that's good. That's great. Yes, next question. Give the preparation of phenol from cumene. That means you are supposed to write cumene's process, correct? Yeah, you are supposed to write cumene's process. Preparation of phenol from cumene's process. Yeah, what is cumene's process? We know cumene. What is the formula for cumene? Cumene is nothing but isopropyl benzene, isn't it? Cumene is iso, one mark question. What is cumene? Cumene is isopropyl benzene. Isopropyl benzene, right? So I hope you know isopropyl benzene. Okay, yes, write it like this: benzene ring. Okay, yes, CH3, yes. So when this is cumene, so when this cumene is exposed to air, it will undergo aerial oxidation to form cumene hydroperoxide. It forms cumene hydroperoxide. How? CH3, OOH. This is called as cumene hydroperoxide. Again, if this is acidified using dilute HCl, it will give phenol and acetone, CH3CO CH3. Got it? Yes. So let us write the explanation for this cumene's process. Yeah, cumene, that is isopropyl benzene undergoes oxidation to form cumene hydroperoxide, which on acidification with dilute HCl forms phenol. Which on acidification with dilute HCl forms phenol. You have to write full this reaction as well as the explanation. Simple. That's good. Next question, students. Again, a very important reaction for 2 marks. Explain carbyl amine reaction. Carbyl with an example. You have to write an example. Please be careful. Carbyl amine reaction, also called as isocyanide test. Look at here. Carbyl amine reaction or isocyanide. We know this is applicable only for primary amines, isn't it? Yeah, see the reaction. Okay, sorry. Okay, yes, see the reaction now. First see the reaction, understand the reaction, and then we will write the explanation. Only primary amines. We know primary amines, yes, reacts with a mixture of chloroform and alcoholic potash. Alcoholic, you have to mention alcoholic potash. How many chlorine is there? 3. Therefore, take 3 molecules of alcoholic potash. Primary amines reacts with chloroform and alcoholic potash. See, okay, just look at here. 3 molecules of 3K plus Cl3 is 3 molecules of KCl, isn't it? Plus, okay, there is hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, so you can eliminate 3 molecules of water, isn't it? 3 molecules of water. Okay, then what else is left? RNC. This is nothing but isocyanide or carbylamine. The reaction is called as carbylamine reaction or isocyanide test, isn't it? But you will not get the marks for this. You will not get the marks for just writing this equation. They have specified with an example. You have to write an example. So in order to write the example, what you are supposed to do is, wherever there is R, right, you take R as CH3. Take CH3NH2. That is nothing but methanamine, isn't it? Methanamine reacts with a mixture of chloroform and alcoholic potash. It gives CH3NC, that is methyl isocyanide. What is this? Methyl isocyanide plus 3KCl plus 3H2O. So you'll get the marks for this with an example. And they also have asked you explain. Okay, how do you explain this? You have to write the explanation. Okay, let us write. Yes, let us write the explanation. Can I erase this? Yes. Let me erase this. Okay, because that carries carries no marks. Okay, so let us explain this reaction. Okay. Yes, what is that reaction is all about? 3 molecules of KCl here. Okay, so let me write the explanation. Yes, I can just say methanamine. Go with an example itself. Methanamine reacts with a mixture of chloroform and alcoholic potash to form methyl isocyanide. The reaction is called as carbylamine reaction. So if you write full, you will get the entire 2 marks. Okay, students. So this is all about part B, students. We answered all the 8 questions. Okay, you have to answer. Now out of 8 questions, you have to answer only 5 questions. We have answered all the 8 questions. Okay, students, I'll meet you again with part C in my next video. Thank you so much. Yes.